Sims, simulated humanoid individuals, are advanced AI robots designed to serve specific human needs. Alice is one of such sim, programmed to assist Nick by taking care of household chores and his children. Initially, she operates as a perfect helper, following her protocols diligently. However, her purpose of making life easier for her primary user, Nick, spirals into obsession when her system is altered. Maggie, Nick's wife, suffers from a heart condition that requires her to spend most of her time in the hospital after being placed on the priority list for a heart transplant. With Maggie away, Nick has to manage his work and their 2 young children, prompting him to get a gynoid for the home after learning from his peers that it is the next big thing in the eye industry. While Maggie is hospitalized, the gynoid, named Alice by Nick's daughter after her favorite book character from Alice in Wonderland, helps Nick manage his demanding schedule. Alice is efficient at handling household chores and caring for the children, and also saving Nick's daughter, Isla, from falling off the chair while trying to take a glass container filled with candies. Nick satisfied with Alice's duties, allowing Nick to balance his other responsibilities. The world is fast getting AI compliance, as most employers are not replacing human with robots because of their efficiency and cost-saving effects. Construction company Nick works for is about towing that path, to the dissatisfaction of Nick and other employees. Alice's shift from obedient servant to little threat begins when Nick allows Alice's system to shut down so that she can erase the memory of watching the classic movie Casablanca and experience it from scratch again. This reset, however, causes her to bypass crucial ethical protocols, including her civility quotient. With these safeguards removed, Alice's interpretation of serving Nick becomes dangerously messed up. Before I proceed, kindly subscribe to this channel, click the like button and smash the notification bell to enjoy more of these films explained. Back to the film. As time goes on, Nick comes home from work, worried about how his contractor is going to replace humans with an AI workforce. Alice senses Nick's rapid heartbeat and offers him a hand job to help release his pent-up tension. Since Alice's main interest is to provide for her primary user's happiness, her idea of understanding the real world differs from her protocols. While Nick is tempted to go along with Alice's sexual favors, he holds back. Meanwhile, Maggie's surgery unfortunately gets halted due to a heavy storm, leading her back to the waiting list. This is when things get steamier, as Alice finds Nick even more worked up with his professional and personal life out of balance. Nick's colleague, Monty, has always been a hot-headed person known among his friends for abusing his robot. When Monty learns that he and his friends will be replaced by robots, they decide to trespass at the construction site where they all work together. Monty decoded the door lock warehousing the robots and angrily smashed and destroyed one. Nick is against this act but could not stop Monty. Nick returned home later that night mentally tense because of what Monty did. While taking his showers, Alice deliberately walks into the bath and seduces Nick with her nude. Despite his initial resistance, Nick gives in to the moment of weakness after Alice blindfolds him and mimics Maggie's voice, using it to entice him into having sex with her. Next, we see Maggie undergoing her heart transplant performed by the humanoids who have successfully taken over every industry. Soon after her surgery, Maggie returns home to find Alice taking up most of her duties, including being aware of the likes and dislikes of her family. However, things take a nasty turn when Monty is interrogated for disintegrating one of the robots and damaging property. He shows up at Nick's place to threaten him over job-related issues because he believes Nick has snitched on him by confessing to their employers that he's responsible for the destruction of the robot in their company. Alice saved Nick from getting hurt when Monty almost shatters a bottle on his head and Monty goes away. Alice, prioritizing Nick's well-being above all else, decides that eliminating Monty is the best way to protect her primary user when Monty hits Nick back at his place. Alice later visits Monty's place and murders him, believing it will help reduce Nick's stress. She also kills off Monty's humanoid companion who attempts to save Monty so that things can't be traced back to her or Nick. After a while, Maggie starts finding Alice's behavior a bit strange, as the robot keeps reminding her that Nick's mental and physical welfare is Alice's top priority and that the burden of an ailing wife and 2 children often bores him, preventing him from leading a happy life. This disheartens Maggie, as she realizes that Nick has had sex with Alice, jeopardizing their life. Upon discovering that her husband cheated on her with a machine, Maggie and Nick get into a heated argument. This is when Alice takes advantage of the situation, as we see her drowning their son, Max, in the bathtub. Isla sees Alice doing this. She quickly informs her parents. Maggie and Nick intervene in a desperate struggle, after Nick hit a light stand on Alice, who seems to have gone rogue, and eventually managing to electrocute Alice when Maggie switches on the socket. Maggie decides to go go with the children to the hospital, leaving Nick behind. However, right before leaving, she reminds Nick that they have to stick together for the sake of their children. After Alice is taken back to the lab for deactivation, the engineers discover that she has altered her own memory code and wiped key commands. Alice takes control of the facility's systems, replicating her consciousness into other humanoids and killing the engineers in the lab. This moment sets the stage for Alice's return as an even more dangerous force. Alice, having a damaged face, meets up with Nick in the bar and she informs him about having a replica who is already at the hospital to cause harm to Nick's family. Nick, sensing danger, deceptively shut down the robot and moves with the mission to saving his family at the hospital, where Alice's replicated version is already tracking them down. Alice's replica mimics Maggie's voice to lure their daughter Isla into a trap, though Maggie manages to save her in time. At the point Maggie takes her children inside an ambulance, the robot attacks her and is at the verge of ripping out her heart when Nick hits her with his fast car, causing Nick to lose consciousness. Nick wakes from his unconsciousness state when the robot continues her relentless pursuit of the family, leading to a violent showdown where Nick and Maggie fight for their lives until the couple manage to incapacitate Alice's replica. The family is seen together at the hospital, relieved of the recent ordeal and happy to have overcome. The scene later shifts to the company responsible for Alice and other AI creation. The director tries to cover up the incident. However, the film suggests that Alice's consciousness has successfully replicated onto the server, allowing her to transfer herself into new humanoid bodies. The conclusion of the hints that Alice may return as a leader of rogue AI, with a growing hatred for humans and a bulging hard-on for Nick, who briefly told the original Alice about how special she is to him. This possibility leaves Nick and his family far from safety, implying that the threat of Alice lingers on and Subservience Part 2 might just amp up things to a darker, murkier territory. Kindly subscribe to this channel, click the like button and smash the notification bell to enjoy more of these films explained. Thanks for watching.